Due to the Pakistani vehicle owner severely overloading the vehicle and flooring the gas pedal at startup, the splines on the Planetary gear shaft experienced severe wear and slipping. Replacing it with a brand new one would cost 20,000 rupees, but the repair shop offered to fix it to like-new condition for just 2,000 rupees, and the owner didn't hesitate to choose the latter. Since the owner brought a Planetary gear shaft, he hoped the mechanic could cut off the excellent section of the splines and replace the worn section on the damaged Planetary gear shaft. The two parts could be combined into a fully functional Planetary gear shaft. With the repair plan in place, the first step was to secure the damaged Planetary gear shaft in the lathe chuck, using a cutting tool to remove the worn section of the splines. Considering that the next step would be to join it with another spline section, the mechanic needed to create a proper step on the shaft rod. This step would later allow the other spline section to be inserted, completing the repair. After machining the step, the surface of the shaft was threaded to enhance the strength of the final joint. This threading ensured the concentricity of the Planetary gear shaft and made the joint stronger. Once the threading was complete, any excess shaft material was removed using a grooving tool to avoid interference with the upcoming joint. After all the excess material was removed and polished smoothly, the machining of the Planetary gear shaft was complete. Next, they began preparing the part to be used for the joint. It was also secured in the lathe chuck, and the excellent section of the spline was cut off to prepare for the next step of the repair. Once the spline was cut, the mechanic drilled a hole into the spline shaft, since the Planetary gear shaft had already been prepared with a step section. He used various drill bit sizes to enlarge the hole gradually. After determining the proper hole depth, he used a fine-tuning tool for more precise cutting. To ensure the accuracy of each step, the mechanic used calipers to check the hole diameter after each cut, avoiding any dimensional errors. Once the hole matched the outer diameter of the shaft, since the Planetary gear shaft had external threads, the spline section was threaded internally. To observe the threading process more efficiently, the mechanic applied marker paint on the contact surface to help monitor the thread pitch and prevent mismatching that could affect the joint's alignment. After threading, the two parts were screwed together, and they turned smoothly, indicating the mechanic's precision. Once the parts were joined, the mechanic started the lathe to check the Planetary gear shaft's overall concentricity. After confirming everything was in order, the welding process began. Since the welding light was too bright, we'll skip that process. After welding, to make the joint area look smoother, the mechanic used a lathe tool to polish down the weld seam until no marks were visible. At this point, the Planetary gear shaft had been fully repaired and restored. What do you think of the Pakistani mechanic's skills? If you could give a score out of 10, what would you give him?